So, is there a regular Russian army fighting in the Ukraine? Especially for Russian people, I will prove and show actually on figures that the Russian troops are present in the Ukraine. Here are some roughly estimated figures. Let's start from money. How much does this war cost? 5-day war in the South Ossetia cost Russia approximately $540 million. The war in Donbass continues already 8 months. By simple calculations, we get neither more nor less than $120 million. That is the total price of all resources involved. That is, the Donbass tractor drivers and miners have for their saved money bought all necessary things in Voentorg, the local military shop, which is hundreds of tanks and armored vehicles, barrel rockets, artillery, the latest weapons, rifles and guns, rockets, bullets, ammunition, grenades, fuel, foodstuffs and much, much more. 8 months the so-called Opolchenia is fighting their war. The question for logical reasoning: who supplies that war? Because it is completely clear that the separatists don't possess such resources. Once again, look at the total sum attentively. It means only that somebody has particular interest in the region, and who in the whole world advocates in the favor of so-called LNR and DNR. Everybody knows that that's Russia considers Donbass as a part of Russian world. The interests of so-called LNR and DNR are represented on the international scene by the Russian government. In Minsk, Vladimir Putin personally haggled of the favorable terms for the so-called fork republics. Generally, this is no secret that Russia has its interest in Donbass. That doesn't require any proof. Now about people. Even Putin doesn't conceal the fact that Russians are fighting in the Ukraine, and all the TV screens in Russia show the brave Russian mercenaries, though they prefer to hide the facts about the regular load 200. So, not necessary to certify anew that Russians are fighting in the Ukraine, but the most important in this war are the officers of the Russian army and FSB who actually command the so-called Opolchenia. The Russian curators are controlling the use efficiency of the tremendous resources spent in this war. Nobody would confide this to the hands of Donbass miners and tractor drivers. View that all sum once again. In the end we see Russian money, Russian armament, Russian regular supply of ammunition, fuel, modern equipment, finances, etc. At cannon fodder, and also Russian officers and Russian command. And the main thing, nobody views Russian interests. And now the question for the logical thinking. Who is at war with the Ukraine? Doesn't make any difference how you call this army, a regular one, occupational or invasional army. But whose could be the army which fights for Russian money with Russian weapons and Russian soldiers for Russian interests? No-brainer. That is the Russian army in the Ukraine. If you consider everything in this way, you can also conclude that those are Donbass miners and tractor drivers now being the mercenaries of Russian army in the east of the Ukraine. Russians, your country has insolently and brusquely invaded our home. You killed the best of us. However, you must be conscious that the war is boomerang and it always ends in the capital of aggressor. Switch on your brains and make conclusions.